What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol ROOT for Root Inc. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, we've covered this one in the past. However, it's sometimes best to just start with a quick and fresh daily roadmap. None of that old clutter, just starting from scratch here, pointing out obvious areas of support and resistance. Then we'll drill down to the 30-minute, of course, to talk more nuance in terms of potential levels that were not obvious from the daily. Okay, so that's kind of wrap it off. Maybe this one as well here, noting that we had prior support, and then resistance here. So 562 was that level. Anyways, obviously earnings pushed us up and outside of this range, the range being defined as that rectangle there. And on a break of a range, what we typically look for is about a doubling of that range. And where did we go for today's high? Basically doubled the range, right? So that target has been fulfilled. The next one to really pay attention to would simply be the structural element at 680, noting that we had resistance here, a little bit of support before ultimately breaking down on the prior earnings cycle. So to me, that's the number to watch out for to the upside if we see upward continuation. Now that brings me to my next point, is that although the close wasn't the strongest up here towards the highs, notice that we're still above this area of what was resistance and now should start to act as support at $5.62. So if I take a look at the 30-minute time frame now, what you'll notice is that we had a couple of bull flags here. So early morning, this one kind of played out for larger, and then this one actually broke down. But how aggressive, how bad was the pullback into the end of the day? Let's take out the fibs to ultimately measure. So coming in from the low up to the high, just to get a sense of where that 38.2 is, certainly broke it, right? But we really don't have enough data, because typically what we say is if on the very next candle we recapture that back to the upside, it's still a respectable hold of the 38.2. It's not the end of the world if on the next very candle we retrace that move that broke it and we continue consolidating up here. So as of right now, we simply don't have that information. So I'd be a little bit skeptical. Obviously, it would have been much stronger if we held on to the 38.2 and didn't go to the 50% mark. However, we can't write it off the table yet. Okay, so really, what I would say, these are the levels to pay attention to. It's not necessarily coming from the fib. Let's actually take that off. That was just to gauge what was going on with the pullback. But really, here's your lows at 603, and then you have the breakout point from here at $5.88. So that's what I would use for my information, right? If we open up underneath, then look for this, okay? So your $5.62 mark to be the potential bottom, right? We would want to see that act as the bottom because we know that it's the top end of this range here. On a break, if we're technically making forward and upward progress, we would want to use that as the next major higher low for maybe something like this that ultimately gets us into that 680. The other scenario would be, okay, if we open up in here, patience, and then a directional move is brought either up and over 603 or down and underneath 588. Why 588? Because again, that's a breakout point from in here. You would then be on the lookout for 562. So that's if we open in between ranges here. Let's call that scenario number 2. And then scenario number 3, the most bullish of them all, if we can get there. And again, there's no guarantee of this, absolutely none at all. But if we can open up back above that 603, that would obviously be much more bullish. We'd be opening up in the upper 30% of the range from today's session. You would simply look, excuse me, I'm sorry about that, for a breakout up and over today's high to take us into that target once again at $6.80, and then monitor for continuation. Maybe if you were really set on it, you could use this as your next target, 763, but there's a lot of distance in here, so probably use a trail stop higher if the upside case plays out. That was scenario number 3. Again, probably not entirely likely based on what's happening right now, currently sitting at 575, 577, so right at and around these levels here. I would probably put my focus on this number, the 562 for tomorrow's session, as the most important thing to be watching out for inside of Root. Keep in mind volume as well, obviously extremely elevated based on the earnings catalyst here. If it wants to remain elevated, then I could potentially see follow through to the upside for a momentum move higher. If it dribbles back down to what we would say is average, maybe you get more of a choppy session tomorrow. That's really going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it or learned anything new today, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.